quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold. This is episode 52. This is the Heinz -5. I was going to say it was I thought that Heinz for a moment was 51. Heinz is 57. Is that correct? 57 varieties of ketchup. I'm getting some nods. Yeah. Getting some nods from the cast of the show. So it seems like I'm on the right track. My name is Lars Casteen. I'm hosting this show today, and let's meet all of these people who confirmed for me that there are, in fact, 57 Heinz varieties of something. I'm not sure. Products. The 57th product.
Sauces?
Could you imagine being so narcissistic as a company that you're like, people are just can't get enough of this 57th? You know what I mean?
I mean, I love their baked beans.
Robin Lange is here.
Loving baked beans.
Those British beans in the tin.
Are they British? I thought they were from Pittsburgh.
I mean, well, I don't know. Heinz, it's a Pittsburgh company, but they have a British baked bean that
It's
they
a British
sell in
style.
England. Not style, but they only really sell it they make them in England. They have an English factory where they make them, and they're so good. So when you buy them in America, it's an import.
When you buy Heinz British beans, they don't make that in Pittsburgh. They send it to you from over the Atlantic, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's an import. And that's why in Britain it costs like 25p for a can, and in America it costs $3 for a can.
I mean, I didn't know that fact, so I wasn't looking for an answer to that particular question, but it does make sense when you say it. Yeah.
I love my Heinz baked beans.
And you know who else has maybe an opinion, not sure, I sure don't, about Heinz baked beans? David, the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Yeah, I'm ready to come in off the top rope on this one. It would be just as it would feel just as odd if you were in England and you bought Heinz British baked beans and they shipped them to you from Pittsburgh. The issue that we're confronting here is that the company is based on one continent and the product comes from another continent. No matter what, you're going to be having some transcontinental shipping. Like, it's
Isn't
just
the issue that we're facing globalism.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day.
Zoe Chernicoff is here.
I am.
Hello. Welcome. And our Matt Humphreys is here as well.
I am. And my favorite UK import is Iron Brew, the Scottish soda.
Whoa, hot take.
Iron Brew. Is it a soda? Is this an alcoholic beverage, or is this like a sugared carbonated drink?
It's a soft drink. Yeah, it's a sugar soda, and it kind of tastes like bubblegum, and I love it.
It's a drink that most Brits won't drink.
I'm intrigued.
And it's bright orange. I love it.
Well, we're going to dig deeper into that, I'm sure, on a later episode. But for today, before we get into our game, and I'm just going to say this, mega excited about our game. If you listened to last week's episode, which I'm pretty sure that you did, we're about to get into something pretty exciting. We're going to pay off some questions that we've had for a long time. I'm very excited to get into it. But before we do, I want to tell you, listener, about something. A few weeks ago, we had a conversation about Myers-Briggs personality tests. And there was another personality test that was going around the internet just a few days ago. And this is a personality test that you like click on some sliders to describe yourself in different ways. You go through a panel of 36 questions, and then it tells you which of 2,000 different fictional characters is most like you, and then ranks all 2,000 of these characters all the way to the end so you can see which of these fictional characters is least like you. This is a test called the Open Source Psychometrics Project. It's at openpsychometrics.org. if you're looking to take this test yourself. Now, Zoe, what are we doing with this test today?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. Like Lars said, it gives you percentiles. The thing I was curious to hear from everyone is the topmost person in this incredibly long list of thousands of fictional characters that you're first like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that person's like me.
Oh, the one that you don't identify with.
But highest up, right? Like, who's the first person you hit? For me, I get some people I just don't know who the character is. But there's one person who now I've done the test twice because I lost it. And this person has now climbed up my ranking list where I'm like, oh no. Like, that's me?
Oh, that's very interesting.
So, like, who is that for everyone? If you're kind of scanning down.
Should I go first?
Yes.
You should.
Okay. At number 39 on my list.
Oh.
Well, that's so much lower than mine.
Well, all the ones that I have at the top, like, make sense to me. My number 3, which I keep getting every time I take this test, is Andy Dufresne from The Shawshank Redemption, who I
like
strongly identify with.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
That
feel
checks out.
persecuted.
Checks out.
I have a love of music. I look like Tim Robbins.
You do.
Yep.
You look at.
It
I
all-
never thought about it, but you look a tremendous amount like
You're
Tim
tall
Robbins.
like him. He's
I'm
also
tall like him.
6'4", 6'5".
Yes.
You married Susan Sarandon for a while before she opened
Yeah.
that ping pong club and dated a
You
younger
starred
man.
in The Player, the Robert Altman film.
I
Yeah.
love that movie. I love the films of Tim Robbins, probably for narcissistic reasons. But at number 39 on this list, I have the Oracle from The Matrix, which is the soft-spoken woman living in like a random apartment filled with weirdos who says cryptic garbage at people.
There is no spoon.
I don't feel great about that comparison. I don't feel much kinship with the Oracle.
Wait, so David, who's yours?
At number 3 for me, Jean-Luc Picard.
awesome.
That's
Right,
fun.
it's flattering. So it
Yeah.
seems like it's a little outside the spirit of, but I would not have been like, I'm a total Picard. I mean, now that they mention it. But but I think the first one that really I was like, oh, I'm okay, was Hermione Granger at number 24.
Interesting.
Which I mean, there's certain aspects of Hermione's personality that I definitely think track, and others that don't. I would not have seen that coming, I suppose.
Wait, so I'm going to add a second question in for everyone. We'll go back to Lars because I think this is a good one. Lars, who's your top Harry Potter character and what number are they coming in at?
Dumbledore at 2.
Oh, wow. That's strong. Okay. All right. I like it. Anyways, Robin, what do you got? Both who's your surprise and who's your top Harry Potter character? Maybe they're the same. We don't know.
The number one today has always been my top 3, which is Inara from Firefly. And I'm fine with that.
Sure.
So who on this list is the first one we were like that's not me?
The only one that kind of was a character that I don't really like, in all honesty, was one that keeps popping up is from is Mia from La La Land, and that's just because I don't like the movie La La Land.
Wait, which one is Mia? Is that the main
She's the
character?
main one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your top Harry Potter?
My top Harry Potter's Dumbledore.
Oh, we got 2 Dumbledores and a Hermione. This is fascinating.
But I got Guinan in my top 10 this time. That was super exciting to get Guinan.
That's good. Guinan is exciting.
Guinan is a solid one.
We've got a Guinan, a Picard. All right, we're adding on. Lars, who's your top Star Trek?
No, my top
character?
Star Trek actually wasn't Guinan, though. My top Star Trek is Deanna Troi, which also I
nice.
love. I'll take Deanna Troi, too.
Interesting.
My top Star Trek is Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg from that show.
So you and Robin, it turns out, are not that different a people.
Just like we always said.
So my top surprise match is one that I would not have anticipated. That, like, I've taken this a couple times, and it's John Hammond from Jurassic Park.
Love
Like,
it. I love that.
I kind of flattering, I suppose, but
You're a dreamer.
The highest Harry Potter was Albus Dumbledore,
Wow,
number 4.
3 Dumbledores.
And my highest Star Trek was Jadzia Dax from Deep Space Nine, which kind of I would not have anticipated.
There you go. My highest Star Trek character is also Jadzia Dax.
Ah,
So how about that?
how
Um,
odd.
My highest Harry Potter character is Tonks.
Oh yeah.
Who is that?
Nymphadora
She's the one who
Tonks?
marries Lupin. Nymphadora Tonks. She's like one of the Dumbledore's army original adults. She's not a kid. She's an adult.
Got it.
The young adult though.
And for me, my surprise person who has been in top 10 for me the first time I took this 88% match is Tyrion Lannister.
Phenomenal.
Which is just like,
Awesome.
and like, let's be clear, going down this list, we've got Mrs. Maisel, we've got Elizabeth Bennet, we've got Joe March, and we've got Tyrion Lannister.
Wow.
Well, I thought that was another banger of a personality test. I love these. I want to keep doing. Can we make this what the podcast is? Is just filling out personality tests and talking about
We
our
should just stream
perception
this
of ourselves
once
to
a
each
week.
other?
Yeah.
I want to talk Enneagrams. I've done this professional Enneagram test and gotten a very different answer than I've ever gotten before. So anytime anyone wants to do Enneagrams, let's dive in.
Plus, this combat is making me nervous, and I don't want my character to die. So we should probably pause right now, and I'll
We
take
should probably
professional
pause.
Enneagram test.
Yeah, it's only a 40-minute test.
Oh no. Well, maybe we can find space for that in another episode. But for now, let's move on. Before we get to the game, I want to thank everyone who has left a review of our podcast at their podcast app of choice. We got this review on Apple Podcasts in Japan the other day from Rubzilla. They say the following thing: the cast are fantastic and weave a wonderful balance of comedy and tense story. Isn't that nice? Isn't Rubzilla in Japan so friendly and so nice? And I appreciate them so much for leaving
thank
a
you.
review.
Thank you.
And there's one more thing I want to say. If you enjoyed our little side adventure over the last couple of weeks with Philrook, the half-orc idiot, that was not actually taken from the James Jacobs penned Ruins of Gauntlet adventure that everything else that we've been doing has come from. That was actually from the Abomination Vault's GM's Guide, written by Ron Lundeen, which is on Pathfinder Infinite. It's a great resource. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun sort of change of pace. So if you liked it, that's where it came from.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah.
And with that, let's get into our game. During your exploration of the dungeons below Gauntlet, you've repeatedly encountered symbols and signs of a largely unknown malignant deity known as Nimbaloth. From nearly the beginning of your quest, the image of a moss-covered skull has leered at you from the ancient fortress's walls. But now, you stand before the most overt sign of this evil influence. A pair of beautiful stone doors carved with a depiction of Nimbaloth as a feminine figure feeding on the spirits of her worshippers. What could possibly lurk behind this door?
I thought you were going to say what could possibly go wrong.
I did too, actually.
You're probably wondering how I got into this mess. Before we get into what's going to happen next, there's something I want to handle real quick. David, Mag has Ghoul Fever level 1. We should have at the beginning of this day rolled a new Fortitude save for you against this disease.
Yes.
So I would like you to roll that now so we can see if Mag is progressing forward, becoming sicker with Ghoul Fever, or if she is recovering from this disease. And this could have a profound impact on where we're going, on the condition that Mag is in. So this is a pretty big roll.
All right. That is a 28 to save.
Woo. Okay. So
Yeah.
that means that at the beginning of this day, Mag woke up having brushed off the effects of Ghoul Fever, meaning that she is available to be infected by it again today.
Yep. Fresh host.
Does she build up any immunity from that? Like, do I have any antibodies?
They should really add. They need to add a number of antibody simulating rules to this game. I think that there aren't enough. There's not enough.
It's rules light.
bonuses and
It's rules
it's
light.
rules light.
Not crunchy enough.
So the four of you and your friend Augriel are here standing in this ancient library chamber. This is the restricted collection, which is in bad shape right now. The shelving around this room was destroyed when the Morlocks were attacked by the ghouls that lived here. You've wrecked shop in this place too, having set off a fireball in here and had one hand-to-hand combat as well. But none of that matters because there's just this door standing in front of you. And what are you guys going to do?
Vadim is going to draw his weapons, step forward in front of the door, and look back at the rest of the party and say, "Well, we've come this far, friends. Are we ready to go forward and meet this canker?"
Norman draws Chompers' bow out and sort of tucks himself next to the door, and he goes, "Remember, it's a library. Keep your voices down." Never mind that we've torched it with fireballs.
Mag draws and raises her shield and draws Haplo. And as she does, she looks at the blade and says, quietly, out of respect for Norman, "May you bring us good luck, old friend."
Trill casts her shield. She whispers quietly to herself the spell to cast shield on herself.
I want nothing more than to get at whatever is behind this door. I'm ready.
Very well. Let us begin. And Vadim pushes the door open.
So you put all of your weight into these two double doors that slide open with less effort than you might have thought. It seems as though these doors perhaps wanted to be opened. You see a soft light as you open the door. There's a light illuminating several display cases in this vast room that looks almost like a lecture space. Once used to display books, these cases stand smashed and empty. Along the curved north wall stands a hideous, towering figure of a woman. The form is composed of hundreds of portions of stitched together flesh from a variety of different creatures and draped in tattered, filthy sheets. The stench of rot from the statue fills even this large room. And at the foot of this 15-foot tall statue of flesh, you see a woman. She is a ghoul with wispy white hair in a flowing green robe. I'm going to show you the art here.
Oh.
With a large staff topped with 3 human skulls at her side. When you spot her, she's occupied with a needle and thread, stitching a new patch of unknown flesh into this figure.
Oh, what is it with them and the sewing and the flesh and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like parchment, sheepskin, but human skin.
right. The canker likes their flesh. Ugh.
It really, I can't get involved in how truly revolting it is. I have to just put it in a tiny little box in the back of my mind.
She turns to you and swiftly tucks her sewing materials into her robe. The flesh covering her face turns upwards into a welcoming, almost sweet sort of smile. She opens her arms towards you in a welcoming gesture. Ah, you're the intruders who were poking around here a few days ago, hmm?
Yes.
And who are you?
My name is Nakazarin. And I'm glad you've come here, because I have an offer for you. And I will make this offer to you once. If you abandon your weaponry and your lives, I will welcome you with love and promise you glory within the canker.
And she motions up at the statue.
You allow me one quick bite, then I'll tuck you away for a few days until you arise as one of us, and your flesh will become one with my masterpiece.
So, your deal is we let you turn us into ghouls, and then we get to be ghouls?
That's not the term that I would use, but I suppose that's more or less what I'm getting at. As you think it over, I would like to ask a rhetorical question. Does your life currently have purpose? Real purpose? When our sweet Belcora was taken away from us, oh, those many years ago, we lost our guiding light, but we still had our purpose. We remained committed to our research here in her beautiful library, working night and day to continue her work and to find a way to restore her to life. And then, weeks later, when our food supplies ran low, our sense of purpose was more full than ever. It was purpose that inspired some of us to give our flesh so that the rest of us could live on. It was purpose that inspired some of us working here among the books to venture above, to pluck some of the, well, you know, the servants, like ripe apricots, so that we could be sustained and continue our work. And our purpose was rewarded when the blessed fever passed throughout these shelves, and those who were too blind to see it as a blessing were struck down with merciful haste. The bloodshed was sad, but the glory of the flesh led us forward in harmony as we were reborn. And now, look, purpose has brought to us this. And she motions up at this statue. We've nearly gathered enough cankerous flesh to fuel sweet Belcora's complete resurrection. And she looks lost in rapturous adoration for a moment as she looks up at the statue. A body fit for a queen, she sighs, before snapping her attention back to you. So, what do you say? Let us avoid more bloodshed and find your purpose here within the canker. Wouldn't you like that? A life free from pursuing coin or lust or whatever other distractions fill your day as you wait for death to assert its purpose over you?
Trill looks at Vadim when this terrible, awful, gross woman says something about death's purpose. And Trill reaches up to the single bead she has left around her neck and says,
You know, yeah, I really like having a purpose.
She sees that you're reaching for this bead. She knows what's going on. She's smart enough to identify what's happening. And she starts laughing. She's like,
Adventurers like you are all the same. You always come for something transient, coin, glory, whatever. The Rose Guard, when they struck down our sweet Belcora, they did it for what? Fame? Glory? And you are no different. Well, the canker needs more flesh. If you will not come willingly, I will have no trouble finding purpose for that beautiful skin of yours.
and she brandishes her staff and laughs a horrifying laugh meant to make your skin crawl. And with that, it is time to... Yeah. Roll for initiative. Well, so much for that intimidation initiative. Fuck off, dice.
Yes, baby.
I realized that I don't have a great sense of where Norman was during that. Zoe, what was happening with Norman?
So Norman, getting a sense that this is like a room of great importance, they've been trying to get there for days. He has crept just to the hallway, but to the edge, and Mag is in front of him, so he's trying to stay undetected. So he rolled stealth for initiative.
Got it. And what did you roll?
Unfortunately, he appears to have, farted right when he rolled or something. For a 13, but it wasn't very stealthy. It was 5 on the die for a 13.
I'm going to tell you that I think that fart ruined this intimidation initiative from our friend Nikazarin here, because she rolled a 4 on the die for an 18. So she's not going so fast either. Robin, what did you roll for Trill?
Trill did pretty well with a 17 on the die for a 27.
Nice.
Makes sense. She had that last bead ready to go after all.
Yeah, she was paying attention.
David, what did you roll?
Well, Mag was ready for this fight, has been ready for it, came in armed, shielded, and was on the same wavelength as Trill about trying to get a jump on this foe. And so she rolled an 18 for a 25 and is going to be just a half a beat behind Trill.
Awesome. And Armet, what did you roll for Vadim?
So Vadim got an 11 on the die for an 18. So I think he's just so caught up in his fury at this abomination that Nikazarin has perpetuated that his horror has overwhelmed him a little bit.
Yeah, what is Vadim like? Is this the worst thing that Vadim has ever seen in his life? It's probably the worst thing that any of you have seen in your lives, but it seems particularly relevant for Vadim.
Vadim has seen some shit.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst thing he's seen in his life.
Big abomination to him.
But he is, I don't think anyone in the party has ever seen him this furious. Like, his face is just flat and his eyes are narrowed and he is not taking his eyes off Nikazarin at all. He's like not saying anything, but he's moving his blades up into a fighting stance.
Got it.
This is like that time that Radu ate the last of the borscht.
It may even be worse.
Sopping it up with the last heel of the pumpernickel.
A little bit of dill.
A quick question, though. Is this the face from Vadim's dream, his vision?
So I'm going to say there are two faces in this room. There's the face of Nikazarin, and then there's the face of the statue behind her.
Right.
Neither of those are the face from Vadim's dream. Vadim, frustrated once more of not finding closure on this vision that has driven him to this awful place. Guys, I am mega excited about this combat. I'm so pumped to get to finally do this. So let's go. It's the top of round 1. This room is sort of shaped, it has a V shape. It opens out as you get deeper into the room. And the 4 of you and Augriel, who rolled terribly on his initiative, he rolled a 1. I think light got in his eyes. But he's seething. He is furious. You see his eyes looking over the statue, like scanning to see if he recognizes any of the flesh on this statue. He is personally committed to this fight. And the 4 of you are standing nearby, near the entrance to this room. And the statue and this priestess of the canker, Nikazarin, is at the far end with these 4 busted up display cases on either side of this large hall. First up in the initiative is Trill. Trill, who has shown an act of aggression by starting to reach for her bead. What is she going to do?
So before Trill plucks off that bead and activates it, Trill's going to start with her usual lingering composition and, hoo-ha, razzle-dazzle for everyone. Because how else would we start a battle?
That classic hoo-ha razzle-dazzle.
Augril whispers under his breath,
Oh, yeah. I like this one. This one's pretty.
Oh, and you know what, guys? We're really going to like this one because this lingering composition was a 20 on the die for 32.
Yes.
all right. 4 rounds of Inspire Courage going to everybody as Trill interrupts this laugh with inspiring music, which I'm sure drives.
I believe it's called love.
Nikazarin looks and says, "Oh, there you are, fools. You're all clowns."
And she pauses and reaches up and with her second action plucks the last bead from her necklace. And with her third action, she throws that final 4d6 fireball at Nikazarin. And she throws it so it lands right, but she aims it so that it lands right between Nikazarin and the foot of this statue of Belcora and hopes that catches on fire a bit as well.
Let's do some damage to that thing.
Hell yeah.
Agreed.
And that is 17 damage.
Pretty good roll. A couple 4s and a 6. Pretty above average roll. So here comes a reflex save from Nikazarin as she tries to dodge out of the way of this fireball that explodes all around her. And she rolls a 1 on the die. Her laughter and mockery of you interrupted as she takes double damage from this fireball.
Yes.
That fart is lingering. It is.
My precious, amazing combat that I've been building up,
Crap.
starting with Norman farting and this lady getting completely caught flat-footed. I mean, I know this is just because of the dice, but like, come on. You got so much out of that necklace. Like, it is
This silly little necklace that
astonishingly.
Norman swiped.
Yeah.
I've gotten 2 hero points out of that necklace.
Yeah.
That necklace has done so much.
Yeah, it's a really good thing you went into that room with that web spider guy and tricked him and stole all of his shit. Amazing. A team
But
effort,
also, you
of
just got
course.
a ton, Robin, a ton out of that turn. 4 rounds of Inspire Courage and
Yes.
34 fire damage.
I'd like to point
One
out
of-
also for once, there was a 1 and a 20 rolled.
That's
and it was
right.
the opposite of the way that it usually happens for us.
Yeah, we
Right.
gotta. I think we should probably start using a different server for this. This is messed up. This isn't right. And as that fireball explodes, the statue, the flames start running up this 15-foot tall meat statue, and it starts to char under the fire, and some fire remains lingering on it.
Trill's hair buns sparkle a little bit, and she jumps up and goes, "Yes!
Okay, Mag, your turn.
And it is Mag's turn. Trill knew what Mag rolled for initiative. It turns out.
She just lets out a whoop of delight at what Trill has done. She gleefully rages. The red in her hair matching the glowing of Trill's glowing hair buns. The two of their hair sort of celebrating Trill's multifaceted genius.
All right. I get it. You're gonna kill my precious monster. I get
So pleased with ourselves, and
what could go wrong?
And Mag from this area by the doorway, she runs straight to the same spot that Trill just hit with the fireball, And at the end, she makes a strike with her bastard sword. And that is a 20 on the die.
You gotta draw. Nice.
Very good.
Very good. Real good. Fun game.
Oh, Lord.
It is a
Here we
fun
go.
game.
From the critical hit deck. This is a slashing attack you just did.
Sure is.
This crit card you just drew
Oh, no, Lars.
is called Rupture Abdominal Cavity.
Oh.
Triple damage. The target is fatigued.
You can see how this would be tiring for her.
Right.
And for Lars. Lars is looking fatigued already.
Wait a minute. This is increasing my damage?
Hey, David.
It's unprecedented.
Hey, David. Do you like the game right now?
Yeah, it's all right. I don't know. 3 stars. All right. Well, here is a triple damage roll.
What the fuck?
That is 54 points of slashing damage.
My God.
I'm so... Look, I'm sad for myself as you cut this priestess down, sever her in half.
Oh, my God.
I'm upset for myself because I was looking to have a little fun tonight. Mostly, though, I'm sorry, listeners, that they just did. I'm sorry. I had lots of ideas of what might happen.
I had big fun ideas of things I might do at the end here. I'm sure
You're
Agriel
right,
wanted
you're right.
to
You're
eat some
not-
flesh.
Yeah, I'm not the only person who suffered here.
I was
That's
planning
true.
to do 54 slashing damage, but over the course of 91 attacks.
Yes, this was not how I expected this
I
to
had
go.
a whole host of questions.
Oh.
How many bulk is that statue? Can I move it around with Mage Hand or can't I? We were going to fight about that for a long time.
Well, now we can move it around with Mage Hand as much as we want, I think.
I was
Yeah,
going
we
to bitch
can.
and moan about not being able to effectively debuff this guy.
Now, Lars, I am bummed too, because there has got to be, not really, but like a part of me, because there must be all kinds of interesting stuff that just didn't, like.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm also happy because I guess I'm the kind of player that just wants to win the game.
So just in case it wasn't clearly communicated to the listener, in 2 turns, David and I just destroyed that boss.
Well, this is good. We can move on to the room to the boss, right? That was just a little front person.
How dare you? How dare you? That was like something like 90 points of damage.
It was a lot of damage.
A lot. It was a lot of damage.
In
I
2
think
turns.
91 points of damage just got done in 2 turns.
If David and I hadn't both rolled 20s.
That's right.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
helps.
this is how the game works. The dice influence this story, and right now the story that we're telling is, what if you ran in and had the most brilliant combat moment of your lives simultaneously and ripped through this fight that I thought was legitimately going to kill one of you like a hot knife through butter.
Literally, listener, we spent last few days, one of us thinking that one of us was going to die tonight
die, for
because this baddie easily could have killed one of us had she gotten the chance.
I literally spent like 30 minutes today on the internet being like, what kind of Pathfinder 2E classes make good tanks? Because I was like, well, I'm definitely going to need another one of these.
I like the part where, like, I feel like we're a more intellectual adventuring gang when we've had a chance to prepare, right? Like, we didn't know what was behind this door, but we've had a lot of days of like getting amped. We had that with the water drake. And I like that when we've done those, we've been like, all right, we can handle this. Whereas when we go chasing green lights down the hallway, some tattoo flesh freak almost kills us.
I apologize.
And in the quiet after the disemboweling, you suddenly hear Vadim start laughing uproariously. He like is bent over at the waist and just like cracking up with utter amusement.
And as he does, Mag sprints back across the room, practically a sudden charge, though not an adversarial one, which ends with a sort of like double knee slide to Trill's feet.
How dare you?
And as she does, she scoops up Trill in her arms, still spinning on her knees, and sort of spins around. And yeah, that's right. And then executes the lift from Dirty Dancing.
The time of my life, and I never felt this way before.
Just remember.
And I owe it all to you.
So while all of this is happening, Norman sort of creeps up around the right wall. I think he's farted. I think this is kind of like the picnic to him, even though it's much more serious. I'm not sure it's ever registered. He creeps up to sort of the right display case. How tall is that display case, Lars?
About 3 feet tall. You could take cover behind it if you wanted to. If there were a fight happening here, you could potentially use it for cover.
He's sort of like over next to it, the statue is flaming, right? So he uses his mage hand if he can to sort of like, I don't know if there's any part of this statue he can dislodge. He's trying to like figure out what it is, but he doesn't want to touch it.
For sure. This statue, despite how proud of it Nikazarin seemed to be, it's stitching, holding together like rotting flesh. This is not a particularly structurally sound thing. You could pretty easily take bits of it off, for sure. It seems like it would be trivial to deface or to destroy the statue.
So I feel like he first sort of like with his hand and like muttering to himself flings the right arm of it off, or a bit of the right arm. And it sounds like that kind of comes off and is like smoldering on the floor.
For sure.
And then he sort of like, he's getting emboldened as he realizes that this thing is basically like a weird flesh puppet. And so he sort of beckons the head towards him and lets it clatter at his feet. And he steps on the head, which is, on fire, right? And reaches down and yanks out. Is it all different teeth in it? What's the tooth situation like in this puppet?
Lars, if this wasn't part of your prep, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to roll a flat check. Anything over 11 is hundreds of teeth. Anything under 11 is 0 teeth. Let's go.
That's a 16.
I rolled a 16 on the flat check. Yeah, this thing is riddled with teeth. It seems as though Nikazarin, in constructing this, kept the teeth in the bits of flesh. I think Ogriel, though, is starting to get mortified by this, and he says,
Please be somewhat gentle with them. I believe some of those that I traveled with are part of that thing. I don't imagine that what you're doing is more of an insult, but I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, buddy. And Norman like walks over and he's like, I'm gonna keep these with me. They'll be important. You'll see. We'll honor them. And he like really looks Ogriel in the eyes in that like intense, too close staring way.
Okay.
Anyways, you want to go eat her? She's partially cooked.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really take any damage. Really? I'll do it. Yeah, of course I'll do it. I hate her.
Let's go loot some stuff, huh, everyone? And Norman starts like smashing through cases to see what's in there.
And Ogriel runs forward and starts just grotesquely feasting upon her in a way that is not cool. So Norman is searching around for loot, right? So Norman, looking at these cases, they're empty. They have been fully emptied out long, long ago. The only thing of interest that you spot on Nikazarin is this staff that she holds.
Is it magic?
Trill comes over to the staff and I assume doesn't even need to read aura to know that it's a magical staff and wants to detect the magic on it. Or I guess needs read aura to doesn't need to detect magic, but uses read aura to figure out what type of magic it is.
Yeah, so when Trill reads aura on this staff, she detects that it is filled with necromancy magic.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Padim, I don't think you really want anything to do with this stuff. I'm going to hold on to it right now.
Not really my scene. Yeah.
And if you wanted to identify it, you could use one of the normal magic ID skills. You could do one of the checks that I just threw into chat.
Trill's going to identify it.
So as Trill spends 10 minutes examining this staff, do you guys have any reaction to the story that she told you?
So the act of ritual cannibalism was sort of the blasphemy, it seems, that infected them and created the ghouls down here. Yeah, that makes sense. It's horrifying, but it's interesting that it only happened in the aftermath of Belcora's disappearance. So that was kind of one of the things that filled the power vacuum, it seems.
Right. There's this timeline that we're being able to gradually kind of construct. Like, we know about this relatively far back history, and then we know what's happening now, and we know like the very last thing that happened was that there was some kobolds here, and they were running around, and then they disappear, and it's like each piece of the puzzle is also, I think, filling in part of the history, and this had a little bit of stuff that was closer to Belcora time, and obviously a little bit of stuff that was still happening now.
So after about 10 minutes, Trill recognizes this staff as something called a Staff of Necromancy, which is a magical staff that has the Chill Touch cantrip on it and can cast first level Grim Tendrils and Ray of Enfeeblement, and second level Deafness and Gentle Repose.
Ooh.
What kind of magic is that?
Fun.
Those, I believe, are all occultism spells.
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating. Yeah, I'll hold on to that.
Okay, so Trill tucks this horrific staff with 3 human skulls on it.
The Trill just kind of lets it wiggle and shake and make some music while hanging off her back.
I like the rhythm that bones make.
This makes me deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I'm just going to go on the record here.
I mean,
Trill.
just think of them as maracas.
I don't care for it either.
Ogrill, it's unexpected to me that we're on the same page here, but I don't hate it.
It's just that it's so big on her.
Oh,
It makes her look even smaller than she is. I'm sorry, is that not what your complaint was? I have trouble reading social cues. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet. I've been quite ill.
no, that actually is deeply reassuring to me. Thank you. Yes, I have a different issue with it.
And I feel like in the time Trill has been reading Aura, Norman has done what he can to do like a complete sweep of this room to see if there's anything else of interest in there, any goodies, any treasure, any secret passageways.
Sure. So Norman spends those 10 minutes searching around, and he comes up empty. It looks like this room has been meticulously emptied out and made into a holy space for the construction of this odd statue.
This room may have been made some kind of sanctum. All traces of the past removed. But there must be more here. We know Belcora was here. She worked here and maybe lived. She must have left behind more traces of her past.
Yes, I think we should go forth and explore more. However, if you're all amenable, I would like to take a moment and destroy this abomination. And Vadim takes out
Thinking the same thing.
flint and steel and is sort of setting tinder around the horrifying canker, preparing it to cremate it. Finish what Trill has started.
And there's nothing else around the walls.
Trill searches the room as well, and having searched the area thoroughly, are satisfied that there's nothing hidden in this room.
Just making sure Trill's got that magic touch on walls.
So leaving this completely destroyed statue at your heels, and it's been on fire, it's been cut apart, it's been burned with flint and steel, it's been taken apart, pulled apart by a magical hand. This thing fully does not look like what it is meant to look like anymore. The rest of you are able to step back into the restricted collection. There are 2 more doors, one leading off to the east and one leading off to the southeast.
I mean, Norman's gone clockwise, so he's one. He's to the east.
Perhaps this is the way we should head?
Trill looks back at Augriel.
Augie, didn't you come from this way?
Yes. These are the stairs leading down to where we first entered this floor.
Oh.
Well, perhaps we should head to the southeast then.
Yeah, personally, from Robin, I'd like to finish off the floor.
Yeah, David would too, and so would Mag. There's all this Belcora intel to be gleaned here.
Yeah, Vadim's on board too, and Armat.
Okay, so we got Mag, David, Vadim, Armat. That's 4. There are only 2 of you remaining, so I don't know if you're going to be able to outvote them on this one.
No, let's do it. Let's open it up. Mag, get it open.
I guess if Robin, Trill, Zoe, Norman, and Ao all voted
that's
no,
true.
then-
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Frown.
And Stephanopoulos
Zoe does
Gregory.
count.
Oh, Frown.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Zoe counts for 5? That's not fair.
You got to build very complex characters, guys. It's the only way to be able to decide what door to open. No, I think Norman's like really gleeful. I think he has no idea how dangerous the thing they were just in was. He's like, Mag, come on, let's do some more of these. We're doing great today.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Like this,
Yeah.
it seemed like a joke.
Open it.
Okay.
So you open this door and you smell the dusty odor of books wash over you. You don't smell the same kind of rotting flesh that has so thoroughly permeated and which you were blasted with in that last room of the double doors. As you step into this room, you see that it is lined with tables divided up into several narrow rows with old wooden chairs pushed in against them. Upon them, old stacks of paper and tattered books sit amid dry inkwells and brittle writing quills. To the south, a skeleton, dressed in shiny-looking chainmail, lies slumped on the floor, clutching something in its bony hands. And as you step into the room, you catch out of the corner of your eye a translucent-looking female figure with pale white skin and solid violet eyes. Looks like in life she maybe was a drow. She's right now floating around this room, checking in on the various books and writing implements that you see, mumbling to herself.
Valik,
Yeah.
my love.
Yep.
The book lady.
Soon we will be together, and we will leave this place.
And she turns towards you and scowls.
Finally, the new scribes have arrived. You are late. I cannot stand lazy, pathetic scribes. We are quite behind on our work, and I am late for my meeting with Mr. Azrene. Now, you, scribes, sit and work!
And she fuck off. And she motions to the desks and looks at you expectantly.
Mag sits in one of the desks.
Trill goes and sits in another.
Norman runs up next to her as everyone's doing this appearing dutiful, and he's like, yes, my lady, what will we be scribing today? How can we catch up? I'm sorry that our lunch break went so long.
Vadim is trying to see if this is the face from his vision.
She first acknowledges Norman as her face is turned away from Vadim.
I like that you are trying to do well here, but no amount of buttering me up is going to make up for the fact that you are so very late. Just get to work and I'll get to you in a moment. I'm quite busy.
As she motions towards a chair, turning finally, facing towards Vadim. And Vadim sees that this is not.
Oh,
Very
we
nice,
all
very
thought
nice,
it
Lars.
might be.
You are
Very
not
nice.
the
The face
father.
from his dream.
Nah.
Right. Agriel looks confused, and he just sort of looks at Mag and is mimicking exactly what it is that she's doing as Mag has sat at this desk. What is Trill going to do?
Trill first looks down at the scroll in front of her, curious what has been left behind by the previous scribes, to see if she can ascertain what was going on in this room, how it was left.
So Trill, looking at this page, sees that it has basically disintegrated. Whatever work was being done here has not been done for hundreds of years. Nobody has done anything here, basically forever.
Intriguing.
She, satisfied that all of you are sitting down to work, she says,
Make up for lost time. These books need transcribing and they're not going to do it themselves. I just met with Belcora. She's quite concerned about some adventurers from Absalom coming here.
Oh, yes, we've heard of them. What can we do to keep them away? Norman says while he's appearing to dutifully write down.
Less asking me questions and more working. We are so far behind. And I am late for this meeting with my dear, dear Volek.
Where will you be meeting him? Can we help you get there?
All you should be helping with is transcribing those. See, you copy from one into the other. Yeah, just like that. Yes, you're doing a good job.
Forgive me, my lady. I may not have caught your name.
Oh, what are they telling people when they send them to work for me now? You don't even know the director of the scriptorium you've been sent to work in? My name is Chandrio Invisar, but you can call me Ms. Invisar.
That will be much shorter. Thank you.
And in a low voice, Vadim mentioned pitching it towards the other members of the party. He says, if we return tomorrow, I can put a rune of ghost touch on vigilance, but I also have the ghost charge bombs here if we want to exorcise this creature now.
Does holy water work on ghosts?
I think holy water is like for devils and things that are weak to good damage. So if this creature is weak to good damage, then it would work, but you don't know the situation with that.
So I can appreciate that we're taking stock of our options for dispensing with Miss Invisar. But I would want to add maybe an if it comes to that. Like I feel like there's
So far she hasn't done anything. Also, she's like the lover of Belcora's right-hand man. I kind of want to learn
like I want to learn. We're probably gonna have to, at some
we'll
point.
kill her. For sure. Or she'll kill us.
I'm not exact. I acknowledge Vadim would be itchy to do that. So I guess Mag would. So okay, Vadim, I beg you for some restraint. She may have the key to the mystery we've been seeking to uncover. Give Norman a moment to work.
Norman's feeling annoyed that his attempts at being teacher's pet aren't getting him anything. So he tries to see if he can figure anything out about this one. You know, he knows she's probably the book lady from Azenray's that we read the letter from, but he's like trying to see if he can figure out any angle he can get on her.
Sure. So we can do a recall knowledge to see what you know about her. That would be either occultism or religion, or a relevant
Gonna go with the occultism.
Okay. You don't know much about this specific creature. Like you have not heard of Chandriu in Vizar, but you do recognize her as a ghost. And I think the main thing that you know in recognizing this spectral figure as a ghost is that a ghost, if you destroy it, reforms after a certain number of days within the location that it's bound to. Every ghost is bound to a location. But a ghost can be permanently destroyed only if someone determines the reason that it is stuck here and sets right whatever prevents the spirit from resting.
So Norman sort of whispers to Vadim. He's like, I think you're right. We're gonna have to get rid of her, but first we got to figure out why she's here so we can get rid of her for good. So Norman, dutifully, ever wanting to appear like the perfect student, he's transcribed a few more pages, and he's like, "Are you worried that Azenray won't show?" Like he tries to find a new angle, maybe preying on her insecurity about her relationship.
You mean that he would break a promise to me? You should not speak ill of Volek. Young, ignorant scribes like you have no right to even speak the name of my sweet, beautiful, brilliant Volek.
Well, I know that before I was here, I helped clean his office some. I was just a janitor up above, and while I know he wanted to get you books, you wanted to give him books?
Yes, he was interested in some books.
Yes. What the Worm Knows. Is that the book? Is that one of them?
Yes, I do think that is one of the books.
And Grave Feasts? That's one of my favorites. I've read it 1,000,000 times.
You've read that book?
It's a beautiful book.
It is? The cover does not. Okay, I mean, they say that you shouldn't judge a book by that.
Yeah, it's got a lot of pictures, and each one is worth, easily more than 1,000. Well, you'll look for yourself, and you'll see. And there's one more, right? Do you remember what the third one is?
Let me see. Yes, he requested Secrets of the Skull. He is a brilliant man. Do not judge him for his unorthodox interest in literature.
Not judge him. Applaud him. I mean, a man like that with a mind like that, no wonder you... Well, what do you see in him?
He is so beautiful. He has the face of an angel. I followed him here from deep, deep below. And he is so smart. And he will eventually learn to love me, I am sure. He just needs to get to know me. I'm sorry, I will return in just a moment.
And she floats as though drawn by absolute raw habit. She floats through the wall to the eastern side of this room.
Oh.
And disappears, as though she has some work that she desperately needs to take care of, that she is convinced she must do at this moment.
Trill's head spins around.
Okay, everyone but Trill, who's really good at finding secret doors, keep doing your work so she doesn't get mad at us. Trill, is there some way through there?
Trill immediately starts racing around the room, investigating every single part of this room, trying to find what is going on in here now that Miss Eagle Eye is not staring them all down.
So Trill definitely notices that there is a secret door in the wall that she just floated through. But more than that, she notices that in a bookshelf, there are 3 books.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
With the titles, What the Worm Knows, Grave Feasts, and Secrets of the Skull.
Guys,
Could returning those books dispel this ghost?
Trill hands down the books, and as she hands them down, she opens up the last one to see what on earth these books are about.
I think Norman absolutely wants to revisit Grave Feasts, one of his all-time favorite reads.
Trill has just enough time before this ghost re-enters the room to tell that what the worm knows is a borderline incomprehensible study of worm consciousness and hive minds. The book, as she's like getting glimpses of it, as she's flipping through it furtively, she gets the sense the book admires that swarms of worms work with each other to accomplish great tasks. At the same time, Norman, looking through Secrets of the Skull.
Grave Feasts.
Oh, sorry. Reading Grave Feasts. Norman also discovers that this is a book about worms, but also about other creatures that feed on the dead. This is a very strange book that seems fixated on how the life essence of the dead is carried forward by scavengers and the decomposers who feed upon the dead. And as you get this sense of the books, this ghost returns to the room. She looks around the room trying to take a look at everybody's work as you just barely manage to get back to your chair in time. And she says,
Oh, Volek, these miserable poor fools are keeping me from you with their slow work. I will never get to see you.
We're trying as fast as we can. We're so sorry that we're not everything you wished we could be.
So what are you guys going to do? This could continue as it is now with you pretending to work and her investigating you and flitting back and forth forever. It seems like, actually, this has gone on forever.
Yeah.
My lady, at what hour are we allotted restroom breaks?
Young people are far too concerned with taking breaks. Work is hard. Just as though love is hard. I hope you know that the cruelty I show you is a sign of my love, just as Volek uses cruelty to mask his own love for me.
Norman, I don't know if it's the books that tie her here. I think it's her love for Volek. If you could try and convince her that he does not love her, or perhaps that it is a toxic love, perhaps then she would be free, and we would not have to destroy her.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Normally, I feel like they're doing this out of the sides of their mouths.
Totally.
And
yeah.
Norman looks her in the eyes and he's like, "Oh, did you say Volek, Azrael? I thought you said Bolek, Azrael. So it's Volek with a V? Is that the one you're talking about?"
Yes, I thought you said you worked for him.
I did. I worked for Bolek, who's his third cousin twice removed, and he shipped me over to Volek's. Yeah, Volek is a real cad, and it turns out that he is only into half orcs, and we see him around town all the time down by the docks, and his mind has been taken over by a nautilus, and he is actually marrying a witch elfling. So I think it's over for you guys. I'm so sorry.
Would you say that you're you're trying to use diplomacy to convince her to leave Volek, or are you using deception to do the same thing?
Deception. Yeah, it's deception.
Okay.
It's always deception.
Is it deception day?
I'm going to let you know that the outcome of this check may have some unintended consequences, but let's see what happens.
We might as well, right? I mean,
What we're here for.
that's a 20 and a +1 boost from doing deception for Norman today, so 21.
So, she looks like the energy has drained from her body as she has bought into your story. And she slows down, like all of her overbearing controlling sort of attitude that she's had towards you fades as it seems like your words have had some effect on her. But she says, No, that couldn't be. He loves me. He loves me. And with that, she flies into a rage and starts to attack you as she is drawn back and slowed. I have two things to say to you. One, we'll pick up from there next time. And two, everybody hits level 4. And we'll talk about that next time too.
That was it. It was breaking a ghost's heart. That's all we had to do.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.